America moves one step closer to communism. As the average American says, I cannot afford to live. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, the 14th of April. And of course, it's tax day tomorrow. Aren't you happy? Aren't you thrilled to be paying all your taxes to this moronic administration that has done nothing but steal your money since they've been in power? Isn't it wonderful that we get that to write that big check, or they've already taken the money out and they want to charge more taxes? As the average American already states, they cannot afford to live in the current system the way we are watching it. We have the continuation of rapid inflation. And again, they can report all their bullshit numbers all they want. Inflation is running away because, of course, the numbers that they report, which are hot anyways, we saw them last week, but they don't report food and energy. So when you don't count food and energy, what do you have? Well, you have you take out the key ingredient to all inflation is the lack of counting food and energy is a major part, because the average American spends more on food and energy during a year than anything else, barring a major emergency. Okay. But of course, listen, we now have Denver cutting taxpayer services so they can divert $90 million to support illegal immigration. Now, aren't you sick and tired of illegal immigration? Aren't you sick and tired of importing your own criminals, your own people that you get the benefit to pay for, that you get the opportunity to support, and half of them are criminals? Not to mention that we may be seeing some of the spies coming to this country from countries like China that has every desire to take over this country. Again, yeah, maybe you think I'm full of shit. Well, guess what? This is a real serious problem. And if you're going to continue to ignore it, guess what? You will be a communist country. Now, fortunately, I'll be dead by that time because, again, I couldn't take it. I don't understand how we can continue to watch the political left that has become nothing more than authoritarians. To me, it is a sad state of affairs of where we've gone. And again, I don't care whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, because if you're going to continue to let this shit happen, then you get what you deserve, okay? And you deserve to be a slave. You deserve to be a serf, because that's where you're headed if you can continue to support the policies that are run in this country. And again, on both sides, there's plenty on the right that are not any good either, but certainly the left is stripping you naked of anything. And if you want just a perfect example of how bad and dastardly they are, just use the state of California as an example. California had no slavery. California had no immigration problems. California had no issues with African Americans. There wasn't racism in California. I mean, California was a state that came, and it could be or could have been one of the greatest states ever. But of course, the left destroyed that state and has now brought them into massive debt and turned it into a hellhole where if you're not rich, you can't live there. Now, where in any sense does that make any reasonable sense for any normal human being? Okay. Well, again, we've got the cries, I cannot afford to live. And of course, that is true. Which is why you're seeing so much more homeless now, because they can't afford to live. Because, of course, between rent and between food and between energy, they have been priced out of living a normal life. Because if you're making under $50,000 a year, there ain't many places to live. Okay, and 50,000 is nothing either. But again, at the end of the day, if you're making less than that, you got troubles, unless you own and have assets behind it. But of course, we're starting to see some progress, because even in the swing states, we're starting to see African American voters turn away from the Democratic Party, which has done nothing but buy votes And of course, there's the big battle right now about letting illegals vote in an election. Now, where is it? A felon can't vote, but you're going to let illegals vote, which are probably half felons anyways. Again, you have to ask yourself, if you really understand what's going on around you, you have to ask yourself, do you want illegal aliens voting in your election? Do you want non-citizens voting in your election? I mean, they don't care about what you care about. They care about what they get for nothing from the government, which really isn't something for nothing from the government. It is something that you and I get to pay for. Okay? And Biden, the dumbest president in the history of the world, okay, came out now with punishing drillers to increase their permit costs so that they can't get out oil. Now, again, we see oil going skyrocketing once again. And again, that is a direct cost to you. It is a direct cost on 80% of everything that you do, from the delivery of the goods to the grocery store or wherever you're buying, to the plastics that you make your water bottles with, to driving your car. Okay. And of course, who do you think is going to pay that 15-fold increase? It's not going to be the government. The government doesn't pay for anything. You have to remember that government doesn't make money. They make debt. Okay. The Federal Reserve doesn't make money. They make ridiculous, stupid, moronic problems that could have been solved a long time ago. But we have said this on these airwaves for 15 years. Okay. That the Fed were a bunch of fucking morons that don't have a clue and are trying to manipulate a system for their own benefit. Because again, if you understand who started the Federal Reserve, Paul Warburg, the Rothschild family, JP Morgan, and the Rockefellers, they have just done the best, because all of those people are the richest people in the world. Yet here we are with a dollar that has been devalued to shit. Okay. And of course, we get into the new cryptocurrency world, which of course, Jamie Dimon from JP Morgan, and of course the government fought. But as it turns out, they're very large owners, and the U.S. government is the fourth largest holder of Bitcoin. Okay. And, we often talk of correlations of asset classes, and, everybody goes, the dollar's too strong, so commodities got to go down. Well, did you notice that the gold and silver were soaring as the dollar was soaring? So again, I warn you to forget about the correlations, because nobody knows what the specific correlation is supposed to be. Learn to look at the market itself and forget about the rest. And again, it's how many tax dollars are you and I going to have to pay for this new student loan bailout? Now, again, you don't think they're not buying votes? 277,000 people? I mean, are you that dumb that you can't figure out that this is a vote grab and buying votes? I mean, this doesn't make any goddamn sense, that we're going to have to now bail out more people that went to school. I want to know, where's my $500,000 that I paid for 2 kids to go to school? Okay. I am sick and tired of watching my tax dollar go to the garbage can, or AKA projects that have no benefit to any American, okay? No benefit to those who work for a living, okay? And is rewarding those who want to sit home and sit on their ass and do nothing, okay? And, the consumer sentiment, well, maybe they're waking up. And of course, we did see some of that in the markets. But I just think that you have to look around and see what's going on in states like California, New York, Denver, Illinois, and wonder, since those are all left-driven states, look at the damage that they're doing to their own states. Is that really what you want the United States of America to be like? Or are you going to be happy as a communist? Because we are about this far from China taking over as they accumulate our farmland by forcing farmers out of business. And there should be no way that China should be able to buy land, especially farmland, in this country. But just all of you just keep ducking your head in the sand and don't think about that they're fucking you. Okay? Don't think about that they're stealing from you and that you're paying for it, because one day you're going to wake up and they're going to be lined up on the border, and you're going to be having to be checked by everybody, and all of your assets will get seized from the communist regime of China. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. We're going to step out of a break. We'll be back with more after the break. What's up, kids? I hope everything is well. Hope you had a good week. I hope you're enjoying the Masters, which is always my favorite time of year. And of course, you know that I have a couple of sponsors and their brokerage partners. And of course, I always want to make sure that you understand that I have many brokers, but I do have those I recommend. And of course, my partners at Capital Trading Group, they are partners with us in a lot of direction stuff. And of course, they're a phenomenal broker for commodities and futures. And again, I always remind you that if you're going to trade commodities, futures, equities, and options, it's always best to have different brokers, because again, to go with the specialist who specializes in the area. But Capital Trading Group, info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And of course, TRADIER brokerage, $10 a month flat. Okay, we've automated almost every one of our strategies and are working on more. But in the meantime, it's still $10 a month flat, and we don't charge you except for the hedging licensing. But again, you can't beat $10 a month. Try.tradier.com, and of course, it's posted on the side here. And of course, Wealth Charts, which has got a great platform and then tied into other brokers as well. Check them out. And of course, our high school program is we're trying to get it done, but of course, the communists won't let us get it all done yet. But we're getting closer. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and of course, our market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 14th of April, and markets had a rough little week last week, and without Thursday's big up day, which was kind of expected. In fact, if you were with me on Thursday morning when we were live trading, I said that expect a rally. I didn't know that it would be quite as big as it was, but it does now appear that the markets are in pretty nasty trouble. Now, I'm not saying we're going down tomorrow. Okay, I'm not telling you, predicting that it's over now, but there are a lot of signs that we're getting a lot closer to disaster. And of course, it has a lot to do with the morons at the Federal Reserve. They continue to think, and those of you who believe that there's going to be an interest rate cut, because we're at the stage now that if they cut interest rates, it can only be from one or two reasons: political gain for who's in office now, or because we are going into a depression. Because based on the data that they provide, you cannot see, there's no way they can cut rates legitimately. And of course, their mandate as the Federal Reserve is jobs and price stability, not to manipulate interest rates. In the meantime, last week, the indexes got hammered. We were short most of the week, in and out and flat part of the week, but short most of the week, and it was a decent week for us there. And we will be short officially. Now, again, obviously, the actual position won't come out until tomorrow morning of what we're going to be, but the direction and the core right now is short across the board. The dollar, we don't trade anymore, and again, it has nothing to do with the dollar. It has to do with the cost of trading it out of New York, which is another ripoff, so we don't trade it, but it is trending higher along with some of the commodities, which again is what they might call an oxymoron. But in the meantime, the euro currency has been getting hammered, and we are short the euro currency. Bitcoin, we're short. Been down a little bit. Now, again, I think that Bitcoin's got a big chance, but again, I wouldn't be surprised to see it see 60,000 first. Bonds and notes, you get the 10-year notes now over 4.5%, going to 5, then going to 6, and I think that you might see that before the year's over, because I do believe that the Fed's going to have to hike rates, and of course, we are short both of those. The metals, big week for the metals, including platinum, not quite as big as it could have been, but certainly on Friday, gold had a monster move up. It broke a little bit, then it made another charge, and finally at the end of the day gave it up. But again, very impressive, and certainly on its way to 2,500. Silver on its way into the 30s, and platinum is now back over 1,000. So again, we would be long them all. We do not trade platinum anymore because it's not liquid enough. And then, of course, there's the copper, which continues to run higher, which is beyond me. We're long, so it's okay, but it's beyond me. In the crude oil markets, crude continues to be strong. Natural gas continues to be a pain in the ass, but we are now long both crude and natural gas. But again, I think you're watching a market that is getting ready to do some stuff. And in the grain markets, grains look like they have found a bottom. Now we're long corn, we're long wheat, and short soybeans. But I think that we'll get long. I think we'll be long soybeans pretty soon right here again. And it does appear that a bottom's been put in. And in the cattle markets, cattle got hammered last week. And again, I think that this is just the beginning of the selling in cattle. Now we don't trade it officially, but I am short cattle and I'm long hogs, which Friday's down day was no big deal. It's expected. Remember, the markets extend. You expect to see some mean reversion. And interesting enough, cocoa continues to explode to the upside. The soft commodities continue to be strong, although cotton's been a little bit weaker. Sugar, we're going to reverse to short now. Coffee exploded, and OJ continues to go higher, which would be long both of those. Again, I'm not making any predictions. I think that the markets are now officially in trouble, but that does not mean there won't be some rallies here. I think you're seeing the big five, which continue to push higher and make these numbers look dramatic versus the average index without the big five is up 1.8%. So we'll see. Again, I'm not going to make any massive predictions. I think they're going lower. I think the markets are in trouble, but there will be rallies, which will be opportunities for you to sell. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, the 14th of April. We're going to stop at our break and come back with our commentary. Well, kids, again, I'm not going to go through the whole spiel, but I'll just tell you our sponsors, Capital Trading Group, TRADIER Brokerage, Wealth Charts, and our high school program. Let's go on the sides. And just on a side note, a friend of mine went to the Arizona Charlies and won the $15,000 jackpot. Didn't tell anybody, but fortunately, we got sources that know about it. So I just thought I'd throw that in, because I know that he's a regular watcher. So we throw it in that he's out scarfing up $15,000, a nice little jackpot. Congratulations. And in the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and Todd Bubba Horowitz. We'll give you our commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, the 14th of April, and well, I don't know. I got so many things that are troubling, but nothing is more troubling than the attack on Trump and the pass that Biden gets. Nothing is more troubling that the open borders continue to bring in a ton of shit and continue to destroy the American dollar, and not the dollar itself, but our dollars, our tax dollars that we continue to have to pay to finance all this bullshit. But it is a tragedy that this empire, the United States of America, like most major empires over the history, have trouble in the period between 200 and 300 years. And we are obviously smack dab in the middle of 200 to 300 years, and we are failing dramatically. And it's up to you and me and the American people to step up, okay, with your vote, with your opinions, with your congressmen, with your senators, with everybody, and say, enough. I'm sick and tired of the advantage that you are taking of me as a taxpayer, as a citizen, because if you don't do something soon, you'll be living under the guise of President Xi and China as they continue to accumulate and destroy. And President Biden continues just to hand it over to him, because why not give away all of our assets? President Biden, you're doing a wonderful job. Just keep giving away the United States of America. Everybody have a great weekend. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. Enjoy the Masters if you're a fan. We'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. And until then, have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you so much. We'll see you later.